Hi Earth students, welcome to Drawing with Kids 1-2 with Mrs. R. Today we're going to start on drawing some things that have to do with spring. And the first thing that I thought about in spring is flowers. So today we're going to do a watering can with different kinds of spring flowers in it. So to get started, you're going to need paper, crayons, a pencil with a good eraser, and a Sharpie. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so what we need to do is have our paper, we need to have it up and down, so portrait, okay? So up and down the long way. All right, so with a pencil, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna draw the watering can first, all right? So find the center of your paper. This is the center of my paper here. So just above the center, I'm gonna draw a line that looks like this, okay? Draw a line that looks like this. Let's see if I can take that off, if you can see a little bit better. Okay, then that's the top of our watering can. I'm going to draw a line down each side like this, about the same length, both of them. Okay, so down both the sides, and then I'm going to connect it like that on the bottom. Okay, so I can draw those a little darker so you can see them better. So I'm going to draw a line down both sides like this and connect them at the bottom like that. So that's the bottom of our watering can. Okay, so now we're going to start putting in the flowers. Okay, so I'm thinking about my first flower. I'm going to put it right here, and it's going to overlap the top of the can, but that's okay because we're going to fix that in just a minute. So we won't worry about that so much right now. So I'm going to draw an oval that looks like this. Okay, so you can see that. And then on that oval, I'm going to draw some petals of a flower like this. Okay, so there's my first flower. All right. So then within the petals of the flower, I'm going to draw these little lines, just like that. Now you're going to notice that on your picture, you're going to have lines through one of your petals. So you're going to have to go in there and you're going to have to erase those lines. Okay. Just like that, just like I had to do that with that one. All right, so then we're going to draw some tulips. So what I do with tulips is I draw a U, an upside down U like that, and then I draw a line that connects one corner like that, and a line that connects another corner like that, and then I draw something in the center like that. Okay, and then up here I'm going to draw one more. And this time I'm going to draw a shape that looks like that. And then I'm going to come down and come up like this, the shape like that. All right. Now I'm going to come over on this side this time. I'm going to make another U. And this time I'm going to touch this corner and go all the way over like that. And then this one's going to go like that. And then one in the center that goes like that. Okay. So now we're going to add some stems to our tulips. So I'm going to draw a stem that goes down like this, and a matching line that goes right next to it. So tulip stems are pretty thick. Now this one, I'm going to draw a line here and connect it to here. And then I'm going to come all the way down like this. These two are going to be connected. And come down like that. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add a bunch of leaves. So we're going to add some leaves coming out this way, like that. and one coming out this way like that, and a leaf here like that. And then I'm going to have a couple leaves come down like this. And then we're going to, of course, have to erase the middle part here because we can't have lines coming through our flower. That doesn't make sense. And then I'm going to have another leaf come down like this. Erase that. And then I'm going to have some more leaves coming out like this. Okay. And then I'm going to have a few more like this in the center here. They're going to be a little bit rounded on the ends. Okay. So now we need to add a couple things to our picture. We need to add a handle to our pitcher, watering can. Okay. And then down here, I'm going to draw a line that looks like that, almost like a smile. And then I'm going to come up, and I'm going to come up and touch like that. So of course this line's got to go because we can't have that coming through our watering can, can we? That doesn't make sense. And then up at the top, I'm going to draw an oval like this. And I'm going to draw little circles in it because that's where the water comes out. Okay? All right. And then we'll put underneath our watering can, we're going to put a table like that. All right? So at this point, if you are done with the drawing part, then just go ahead and get your Sharpie out and start doing your Sharpie lines. So I'm going to trace all of these like that. Now, if you're still drawing, what I would do if I were you is I would push pause, and then after you get your drawing done, go ahead and start on your Sharpie lines, and then you can press play again. Now realize too that your flowers may not look exactly like mine, and that's okay. Because each one of us, when we do art, have a different perspective on what we see. And so that's okay. That's what, you know, we've talked about this before. That's what makes art so cool. Because everybody's perspective is so different. Okay. And again, if you get off your lines, it's totally fine. Remember, we talked about Sharpie lines and pencil lines, and that the pencil lines are just there as a guide until we do our Sharpie lines, which are going to be our permanent lines. Okay. All right. So I'm just going over all these. I'm going to draw my black dots there. Okay. Now, the point where I'm at now, I am ready to start erasing. Now, if you're still doing your Sharpie lines, you can always press pause, do all the Sharpie lines, and then push play again, or do all your Sharpie lines and you're erasing and then press play, okay? If you need to go back, you can rewind the video. If you missed a spot and missed something, you can always do that too. Okay, so I'm basically just going through and erasing all my marks that I don't need. No longer need these pencil lines. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all those, just like we always do, right? Go ahead and erase all the pencil marks. Okay. Okay, so at this point, go ahead and erase all those. Okay, so So at this point, I am ready to start coloring. Now, tulips, of course, come in every shade you could probably think of, but I am going to I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to start with one red one, probably a yellow one, and maybe a pink one. So I'm going to go in with my red first, get that all colored in. And just like that. Okay. And then the next one I'm going to do, I'm going to make it yellow. That. And then maybe a pink one would be pretty. Every year there's in Oregon, it's called the Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival, and my husband and I, we go every year, and they have some of the most beautiful flowers you have ever seen. The tulips, beautiful tulips, and we just love going. And sometimes we buy some of the plants, the bulbs, because tulips are a bulb you plant in the ground. And we have some of those in our yard. They have so many different kinds of tulips. They come in so many different patterns and so many different colors. It's just amazing the variety that they have of tulips. So right now in our yard, the daffodils are blooming. Daffodils are those yellow flowers that have kind of the center comes out. Anyhow, those are blooming right now in our yard because it's springtime. So other spring flowers like pansies, violets, crocus, daffodils, tulips, of course. Spring flowers are probably my favorite type of flower. They are so colorful. And after having such a long winter with lots of rain and snow and just being dreary and cloudy outside, it's nice to have these bright, colorful flowers blooming. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color my watering can. I think I'm going to color it yellow because that'll make it nice and bright. So I'm going to go ahead and color that in. Yellow reminds me of spring so much. Every time I see yellow, it reminds me of yellow tulips, which are so pretty in the springtime. Okay. All right, I'm gonna color my handle while I'm over here. Okay. And my watering can. Let's see, I'm going to turn my picture upside down, I think, to color. All right, so just going around my watering can here. And I noticed something that I had missed. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put in some of these lines back here that I missed for the back of the watering can. So I'm actually going to just put the lines in there, but I'm not going to color that. I'll just have the back, the inside of the watering can. I think I'll just leave it like that. And then I think for the table, I think I'm going to do like a bright green, I think. Let's pretend a tablecloth or something is on there. I'm going to make it bright green, kind of this lime green, which I think will be nice. And then I just have to come do the background of the, which I think I'm going to do in blue because yellow and blue are good contrasting colors. So that'll be nice. So I think I'm going to do this. Just use big, nice big strokes here to color in this area. Okay. All right, I've got my paper here to catch all the extra crayon. There we go. Okay, so I think for my background, I was going to do blue. So I'm going to go ahead and do a light blue for the background of this picture. So yeah, this will be great. So this picture would be really a great picture you could use for a card to send to somebody. This would be great for a Mother's Day card, or if you want to send it to a special grandma, you know, anything like that. This is a nice spring picture, and then you could write a really special message on the back. Maybe you have a special neighbor that you're thinking about, or sometimes you have really nice neighbors that live around you. I remember when I was a kid, we had this older gentleman and his wife, and they lived next door, and he would always, of course, this was a long time ago. You wouldn't want to do this now without making sure you knew who the people were, but they would give my sister and I little candy bars through the fence because he'd always be out gardening, and he'd always have candy for us, and it was so sweet. He'd always do nice things like that. So if you're lucky to have a nice neighbor like that, they probably would appreciate little things like this, that you would, you know, draw a picture for them and make them a little card or something like that. That would be something really thoughtful that you could do for someone else. And it's always nice to do something to cheer people up. So just an idea, or send it to, you know, a friend, anybody, actually. People love getting handmade things from others, and so just something you could think about. So I'm just going in between my flowers here, and this blue will really make the color on your flowers stand out more if you do put this in here instead of just plain old boring white. It just makes it look much more interesting to look at. It does take a lot more time, but it's totally worth it because it makes your art stand out so much more. Okay, we're almost done. I know your hand's probably getting really tired. My hand's a little bit tired too, but you got this. In the month of April, we're going to use some watercolors, which will be fun. I like using watercolors for painting. It's just really fun because you can make them as dark or as light as you want them to be. by using lesser, more water. And you guys have practiced quite a bit with watercolors this year with me, so you guys know how to make colors darker and lighter depending on how much water you add to your palette. So, okay. Turn my picture on this way now. Go down here around the arm of the pitcher or watering can, whichever you like to call it. Okay, we're in the home stretch. All right, make sure I get all this white colored in. Let's see any white. I go over here on the side here and make sure I get all of this white colored in. I think I'm the same do on this side too. Okay, there we go. All right, so there is our finished picture of our tulips in a watering can. So doesn't it just stand out? It's nice and bright, the contrast between the yellow and the blue. And then you can't really tell here, but in this picture, but there's a lime green down here. So it just looks really nice. So this would make a really great card for someone special. So might want to think about that and maybe a way in which you could share your beautiful art with someone and make their day. All right, everybody. Well, you did really well. You worked really hard today on this project. It seemed like it was simple, but it really took a lot of time and patience and a lot of muscle because of all the coloring that we did. But I know it turns out terrific. I'm sure it's beautiful. Each one of your projects always are. And so I would love to see them on Seesaw. Make sure you post them on there so I can take a look. And so I wish you all a great week until we meet again for art. Have a great day, and I will